Hi, guys. Welcome back to Sports with Mono and Mono. It's the 26th day of July. And of course, I'm here with my co host, Elijah Weintraub. And yes, Eli, I said it's almost the end of July.
It's almost the end of July. This is crazy, really, to think about that. We're here and it's almost August already.
Yep,
We had a lot of hot weather this week.
we did.
It should be getting better, at least here in Jersey, but we
Yeah,
have plenty of sports to talk about, and that's the goal for today's show.
we
And
got
a
it.
lot of notable passings. It was a rough week, so we will get to that at the end of the show.
Yep,
A lot of big names out there. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
yep.
Jim starts us off here with the monologue, sponsored by Coriano Trucking of Summer Hill, New York.
Okay, Eli, thanks. And monologue this week. So I keep thinking of, time and time again, and I guess maybe more about the youth of today and what they consider role models. And, this is about sports. And you and I have always said, there's life and then there's sports. It's kind of a detraction from,
Right.
from some of the other things. And, when I think about guys and we see it constantly that, guys that are considered role models, they're hanging with the wrong crowds, they're getting in trouble and so forth. And, these young kids are very, very influenced by sports athletes. And when I think about role models and stuff, what about the pediatric heart surgeon that does a heart operation on a
Right.
8-week old baby, and or somebody who's sitting in a lab trying to find cures for the diseases that take so many people across our country. So again, I just want to make sure that we set a defining line between the values that Ian, Elijah, and I have about, what's a role model. And I'd love for people to, because the thing that kind of made me think about this was, and we're going to bring him up in notable passings, but there was a sports athlete that was kind of revered in the world. And he was, quite a pop culture character, but also, there was incidences where he was caught on tape and making just incredibly racist comments and things like that. So, it's hard to to accept somebody like that as a role model in the world of sports. I mean, we're all human, of course. We all make mistakes and things, right? But when I think of guys like who's a role model, like from a sports athlete, how about like Eli Manning, right?
Right.
All the work he does for childhood cancer, and he raises money, and that's exactly what we would hope to get out of the athletes that we call role models. Barry Sanders, Walter Payton, all those kind of guys. And everybody that wins the NFL player of, the Walter Payton Award, right, Eli? He's done something
Right.
great, and he's done something for the community. And I just want to make sure that people set their priorities straight, that sports, it's only sports. And role models are more valuable in life itself than sports.
Right.
Admire a sports athlete, but make sure, he's solid in foundation and he contributes back to the community. So I'd love for
Absolutely.
people to send us comments or send us an email at sportswithmono@gmail.com about what we just spoke about, and give
Right.
us your thoughts. Eli, you have any thoughts there?
Yeah, I mean, when you look at even celebrities too, everybody has a celebrity icon or even a sports athlete we admire so much. And you're absolutely right. We want to look for a person that shows leadership, that shows charity work, and even, does fantastic in what they do, whether it's a sport or maybe like a movie or a show. Fortunately, nowadays, it's tough to find a person that doesn't do something wrong, because that's just how our society is. Our
Yep.
society will always continue to criticize every little thing, no matter what, and that's just how it is. So, unfortunately, we're gonna have to deal with it. Now, there are some situations where it's like, okay, that's a little too extreme. I don't know how we could consider this person as a role model, but if that's what makes the person happy and that's what inspires them, you gotta let it be, I guess you could say. But
I guess
you know, that
I agree.
everybody, yeah,
I agree. Like I said, I think of a doctor who operates on a child and saves a life. That is, to me, is a role model. But
That's a role model, right? But at the same time, too, is they do make mistakes once in a while.
and we
Some
all do.
things do
Like I
happen,
said,
but yet
we all
again, it's all human. And even
yep,
the celebrities and everything's all human. Unfortunately, though, with these celebrities and sports athletes, social media and society has really taken an effect to it. So every little thing they moved, oh, they walked across the street. That's a problem. That's the thing.
yep, you're right. Anyway, send us your thoughts on that. Excuse me, and on that topic. And Eli, what are we gonna? First of all, let's start off with the British Open, right?
Yeah.
Let's summarize that. And the performance by Scotty Scheffler was
Once again,
absolutely amazing.
fantastic.
Yes, he's the number one player in the world. He won his fourth major golf tournament already. Only thing that he hasn't won yet is the U.S. Open, but that could happen,
Right.
next year. I think it's Shinnecock Hills. But it was really awesome. I mean, they really tore up this Royal Port Rush because these scores were very, very high. But when Scotty Scheffler putts like he putted, he is almost unbeatable. And give credit to guys like this Chris Gotterup, who won the Scottish Open the week before,
Right.
New Jersey kid, and he didn't disappoint. He came up and he proved he wasn't just a one-hit wonder type thing. So there is a lot of players around. And full disclosure, I had three guys on my list, and neither one of them finished in the top 10. I had Justin Rose, I had Tommy Fleetwood, and I had Colin Morikawa. Why didn't I pick Scotty Scheffler? I don't know. I should
Maybe
have.
because you
No,
should have.
I
I don't
should
know.
have.
Like it's
Because you
wanna
know
change up,
why?
maybe? Like
Right, but the Open Championship is links golf, and it's like a much different game. And you always wonder if guys can make that transition to U.S. golf versus the links thing. But he sure did. He sure proved he's the number one player in the world. And right now, it doesn't seem like there's anybody that
that
can
can stop him.
compete with him.
Well, it's just like tennis between Alcaraz and Sinner. Those two are the main guys when you
Yep.
look at it from the tennis world, from the men's side of things, and you look at the men's side for golf, it's Scotty Scheffler, and there is nothing you could do to stop these type of guys because of how well they play and how powerful
Yep.
these guys are in their sport.
And some people may argue that this isn't good for golf, but I'll tell you this. Tiger Woods was the best player in the world for 20 years, and golf was at its peak. People
Yeah,
watched it. That's
they did.
they want to see this.
They want to see these rising stars. They want to see them continue to win and create a legacy, as you will. Tiger
Right.
Woods create a legacy, and more people watch the sport of golf. Now that
Right.
Tiger Woods not there, the sport, it's decreased a little bit, but maybe it will now with Scotty Scheffler. That's a thing.
Yep. And like I said, let's see these other guys kind of challenge them.
Right.
It's always good for competition. But it was a
Absolutely.
great Open. I'm kind of bummed because there's all four majors have been played already, and now I guess it's the FedEx Cup and whatnot.
All these other cups, right? But it's not
and the
as
Ryder Cup.
important
Ryder
ones,
Cup
right?
coming up, and Ryder Cup's being played at Bethpage Black in Long Island, and
Right.
should be very, very exciting.
It'll be exciting. It's not the main ones, is what I'm referring to, but it's still golf, and I think now we can move on to other sports like baseball and football in terms of out of the golf, situation. I'm saying.
Yeah, I agree. All right, Eli, take us down the Major League Baseball route here.
Yeah, well, the Yankees did a
Oof. Not me, Eli.
All right, you can hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Sorry about that. We were trying to test some stuff out earlier. The mic's been going on and off. But yeah, the Yankees, they acquired third baseman Ryan McKinnon from a trade from the Rockies. That was a pretty big move by the Yankees this week. If you look at the board all around, Toronto is in the leaderboard in first place in the American League, and you have Milwaukee in the leaderboard for the National League in first place. So really interesting situation. And you look at the standings, the Yankees and Mets both sit equally in fourth place. The Mets could easily go up to first anytime soon. They're only one game shy of the Dodgers and the Brewers. The Yankees, there are a couple games behind now, so it is a little bit of a trail now to get back up the top. But as I say constantly on this show, the team faces a roller coaster ride. At one point, they're going to be doing really good and they're going up on the roller coaster. Then the losing streak begins, then they go downhill, and we're not at that point yet. So it's still early on. It's only July. We still have about 2 more months left of baseball for August and September before the playoffs start. So the Yankees will likely make the playoffs. Just they got to continue to win games and not continue to lose.
Let's kind of talk about the Yankees at this point. Right now, they are absolutely struggling, and you're right. They have fallen 5.5 games behind Toronto. And like I said, they went into Philadelphia, play a tough Phillies team, and they got crushed last night. And
yes, they did.
Is Ryan McMahon going to change the dynamic of the office of the lineup? Not really. I mean, he's still a 220 hitter. Maybe is it an improvement over Peraza? Yeah, and but they got a lot more holes to go, and I still think with their record right now, and Detroit, Milwaukee, that's a good battle. Seattle, Houston, that's kind of a good battle in the American League. But the Yankees are going to have to do something. And then one of those things could be bring up somebody like Spencer Jones, who's tearing it up in the minors. But the question is, where do you play him? Right? I mean, there's really nowhere on the field. He's not a third baseman, which would be great if he was. But he's 6'7", so he's not a third baseman.
Right.
But look for some other trades to happen. And on the other hand, right, we sat and we watched the Mets kind of look like they were starting to fall apart as well. And
but now they've been regaining.
Yeah, they won 5 games in a row. So they're coming back.
They're coming back, and that's what matters.
And the Dodgers themselves, right? Like you said, Eli.
Second place and doing great.
Great teams go through these streaks, and even they lost like 9 out of 10 games during this recent stretch. But Ohtani hit a home run in 5 straight games, so there's always something to watch with them.
Absolutely,
right? But there is no certainty in baseball, and some of these races are going to come right down to the wire, and it's going to determine who gets the first round bye, who gets the wild card, and like I said, we're probably 80 games left in the season, right?
Yeah.
At that, yep. I got a couple other quick notes from Major League Baseball.
Okay, go ahead.
Interesting. Rich Hill was brought up, and he's on the Royals now, if I'm not mistaken. But
yes.
45 years old. So he now becomes the oldest player in Major League Baseball.
Right.
And that was Justin Verlander, who's 42, right? So, but Rich Hill, notably, this is his 14th, 1-4 team he's played for Major League Baseball, which is a Major League record, tied with Edwin Jackson, 14 different teams, 45 years old. So, is it a publicity stunt? I don't know. Maybe, but
everything's a maybe, as we know.
Yeah, it is. There's always a motive behind something. Couple other quick notes. How about that game last night? Eli in Oakland with actually Sacramento. Nick Kurtz. Nick Kurtz went 6 for 6 with 4 home runs and 8 runs batted in. And he's just a rookie. So a couple of things. He's the first rookie ever to hit 4 home runs in a game. And by the way, he just missed a 5th home run as well, just by a couple of feet. It's crazy. Yeah. So that was a great thing. And here comes the sports bettors now. That makes him the instant favorite to be rookie of the year based on the one game. But it's having a great season anyway. But that's pretty notable. 4 home runs in a game. I think it's only the 20th time or 20th different player to do it. So that's a big deal. And, when we talk about futility, let's talk about the Colorado Rockies. That they broke their streak, Eli. They hadn't had a shutout in 220 games, which is a major league record. And they got their first shutout. How about that?
Oh, well, I mean, all good things must come to an end, unfortunately.
Oh, no, but that was a good thing for them, meaning they hadn't shut anybody out in 220. Anyway, what else you got on Major League Baseball?
That's all I got for baseball, except that the Rockies and the White Sox are the two worst teams in baseball right now.
Again, right? Second year in a row.
Yeah.
All right, Eli, guess what? Training camp opened this week.
There it is. We're here. The NFL is back. We have our first game, and believe it or not, this Thursday, July 31st, the Hall of Fame game, 8 o'clock on NBC, Chargers Lions. They open it up already for the 2025 NFL season. Football's back, but the biggest story from the week is are the Jets just cursed with you have Justin Fields sustaining a dislocated toe injury. They thought it was worse than that. So what do you think about that?
I don't know. I mean, it seems a little ludicrous that if you dislocate a toe that you have to get carted off the football field. I don't understand that. But and then you look at that. So assuming that, he'll be ready to play, obviously.
He'll be ready, but I don't know about right.
But if he goes down, then it's Tyrod Taylor, and we know Tyrod Taylor's
got a great reputation, right?
Yeah, he's a serviceable backup, but he doesn't stay healthy either. So this could be that curse you talk about with the Jets,
right?
At least they don't have to worry about that guy.
That other guy, I don't know what's his name though, but he's somewhere in the NFL.
I think
we have a comment from Orange NJ News page who says, "Good morning."
Hey, good morning, guys. Thanks for tuning into the show. We got a lot of stuff we're talking about right now, and in particular, Eli, we kind of touched on it a little bit last week because TJ Watt got the biggest contract of any non-quarterback in the league, and now we said, what's up next? Micah Parsons. Correct. And there's a lot of publicity going back and forth. It's Jerry Jones always stirring the pot. But I said, no matter what's going to happen, he will be making more than TJ Watt before training camp ends. And I don't know how long he's going to hold up. And then the question, comes up, the other, I guess, big name looking for the same kind of a deal he's holding out is Trey Hendrickson for Cincinnati. But one caveat there, he's 30 years old already. And, that gets to be a little bit longer in the tooth. So I think they will sign him. They'll make him a wealthy guy, but I don't think he's going to surpass Parsons' contract.
No.
Because like I said, Cincinnati Bengals consistently start the year off, 0-3, 1-4, and then they have to battle back. And they do have Joe Burrow.
Right.
They got their wide receiver situation straightened out. So Hendrickson will be signed, but I think due to his age, I don't think he's going to get the contract that Micah Parsons is going to get.
1,000%. By the way, the Orange NJ News page was William, by the way.
William.
Yeah, that was William, by the way.
Oh, I wonder if that is William Kelly.
That is. William Hathaway, I think.
Oh, okay. Thanks, Willie.
I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
Listen in the comments, but I believe I'm right.
And I got one other kind of note, Eli. I know you still got some training camp news. Give us an update on your Seahawks. But Tyrann Mathieu is retiring after 12 years. And, we talk about how fast the summer goes. I mean, he's been in the league 12 years, and I feel like I just remember him playing at LSU.
Absolutely.
So he was a number 1 draft pick, played for the Cardinals for a long time, and then played the rest of his career with the New Orleans Saints. But very good player. Hall of Fame? I don't know. I don't know
about that one. Yeah, but you also have another retirement. Phil Rivers. He announces his retirement as a Charger. Now also is out there as well.
I thought he retired like 3 years ago.
He did, but now it's official that he's with the Charger and retired.
Oh, that's the signing the guy for a 1-day contract. So
then he could retire from that team. Yeah, you know how that goes. Other news right now for the NFL, Dolphins cornerback Artie Burns will miss the 2025 season, and that is due to an ACL tear.
Yeah.
Titans quarterback Will Levis will undergo shoulder surgery, and miss the 2025 season.
You know what? That's probably a plus for
the Titans, because then you also get the new quarterback.
Yeah, now you got Cam Ward, who's the number 1 pick in the draft, and that's how they should go anyway. I thought there was a lot more potential with Will Levis, but he had pretty much a terrible season last year. But Rookie quarterbacks can do that. So don't write
Right.
this guy off completely. But this gives Cam Ward an opportunity to become, the next face of that franchise. We'll see.
And the last note I have before I get to the comment, Chiefs signed defensive end George Karlaftis to a 4-year, $39 million deal.
Yeah, he's. I talked about that yesterday. George Karlaftis, very, very good linebacker, and yeah,
Absolutely.
the Chiefs are paying guys a lot of money. I
They
don't,
are.
I don't hear, I don't hear word salary cap when I hear the Chiefs. It's kind of
No,
crazy.
we don't believe in that there. No.
Yeah, I
But
don't
yet
know.
again, they are Super Bowl champions, so they always get the money. Let's get to a comment from William. He says, "Did you hear of the NFL scandal regarding the past Super Bowls where players were selling tickets?
Yes,
What are your
and
feelings?"
and of course I was going to bring that up as well. And yes, but first and foremost, William, this happens all the time. This isn't
No
the
question.
first time that it's happened, but it's the first time I think that the NFL has fined the players or the office personnel who did this. So their penalty is they're going to get fined 1.5% of the face value of what they got the tickets for, to sell it for a profit. But if you don't think this goes on in the NBA, you're really not looking at the whole picture. This has been going on forever, and
And it will
especially when you
continue
look
on
at
forever.
right the face value of a Super Bowl ticket itself. I don't know, is it $1,000 maybe or more?
5,000 was the last
Yeah,
time I looked
right. So
from
these are
Ticketmaster.
guys that are millionaires, and they're trying to make a couple extra bucks by selling tickets. Well, now they can't get tickets for the next 2 years unless they make the Super Bowl.
Really. Like, I mean, how I look at it, you know, as long as if you go and you want to sell me a couple of your tickets, go for it. But if it's more than what the cheapest ticket is, quote unquote,
And it is.
then that's a little insane. Then
Yep,
you're just
and
trying to
it
make
is.
money and you shouldn't be doing that. That's the bottom line.
Yep. But this is going on since the beginning of time.
And yeah, and it will continue to happen no matter what sport it is. And that's just the bottom line.
Yep.
Let's take a look, I think, now into the WNBA.
All right. That's your thing, not
All
mine.
right. Well, in the WNBA All-Star game, Team Collier defeated Team Clark 151 to 131. Your MVP of the game was Nafisa Collier of the Lynx, the captain of the All-Star team, Collier. And ahead of this game, the players wore "Pay us what you owe us." That was the shirt that they were wearing. It's a sign that they should be paying us more equally, and more money, period. Saying how you have to look at the attendance, which is growing at games, the ratings on television rising, and sales and merchandise also on the rise. So you have to look at it from that aspect. Will they get it done? Slowly but surely, they will get paid their money. It's going to increase little by little.
Yep.
They're not going to make it to the NBA salaries, as you will,
No,
anytime
they won't.
soon,
No.
but it will happen eventually. And you even got to look at Caitlin Clark, too. She's getting mostly the sponsorship deals, like with Nike and all these brands. That's how she's really getting her big bucks, as you will,
Oh,
compared to what she will
most
be.
of them are. Right. Angel Reese, same thing.
Right, same thing. It's not really from the WNBA.
But
You look at
Eli, I was just thinking, I watched some of the highlights of it, and if you thought the NBA basketball All-Star game didn't have defense, this was basically, it was a
same thing.
playground
Yeah.
shoot as you want.
I
I don't
mean,
know.
I think
Maybe they got to
personally,
change it too. I don't know.
if it was, like I said, if Caitlin Clark was in the game and she was playing in that game, I think we would have a much different opinion about this All-Star game and stuff. But because she was not playing, it was kind of just, it didn't feel the same, I guess. It would have
Yeah.
been more competitive, more action, but maybe again, one player does make a big impact in the league, and she definitely sure has. You look at the standings chart right now. The Minnesota Lynx stand on the top of the hill right now at 22-4. The Liberty stand right behind at 17-6. Though not the best team right now in the league is the Connecticut Sun. Only have 3 wins on the season. Tonight you have 2 games, and I'm actually going to be going to the Liberty game tonight as they take on Phoenix. New York takes on LA tonight. My 9, 7 o'clock. So I'll be at that game tonight. So it'll be my first Liberty game and WNBA game. So I'm excited for
And
that.
where do they play that?
Barclays
Center,
Center,
yeah.
which is in Brooklyn. And the Liberty won last night. They had a game. They beat Phoenix. The Seattle Washington's on tonight. You have a couple games tomorrow, including on ABC and CBS Sports Network. But the WNBA has continued to slowly grow. some good games tonight, and excited to go see
Okay.
the Liberty tonight.
Yep. Just a quick note from the NBA, actually, and this is something that we expect to see, right? This whole summer league, it's considered a big hit, right? It gives
It was
kids
right.
the rugby, but of course, you're going to have injuries that are going
Yeah,
to happen. And the Pelicans lost their number one pick to a knee injury, right? So
right.
he's going to be out. Seems like that franchise is kind of snake bitten, like the Jets a little
Yeah,
bit too. But Kyle Filipowski, second year center for the Utah Jazz from Duke, was named the MVP of the Summer League for whatever that is worth. But,
right.
he's an up and coming player. And like I said, Utah's had a good draft. So look for them to start making
Yeah.
some progress. But way, way too early for us to even spend more than 2 minutes talking about
Talk
the
about that. But
NBA.
the other comment note from the NBA, as you will, because I actually hadn't know, Marcus Smart has agreed to a contract buyout with the Wizards. He will now sign a 2-year, $11 million deal with the Lakers.
And Eli, when you see something like that, like just a couple years ago, Marcus Smart was like a key part of the Celtics team, and they made that trade, and they made the commitment to stick with Jaylen Brown and um, Jason Tatum and pay those guys the money. So the Boston Celtics have completely changed, their roster. And, Marcus Smart was, when you think about it, 2 years, 11 million, considering most everybody in the NBA makes 40, 50, 60 million a year.
Yeah,
Crazy,
it
crazy
really
stuff.
is.
Yep.
Well, I think it's time for some random points.
Okay.
Let's, all right. Well, that is sponsored by Lynch Toyota of Manchester, Connecticut.
You bet.
Uh,
Go ahead, Eli. Lead us off.
All right, we'll start off. I only have a couple notes. In the soccer and in the Women's Euros tournament, the final is now set. Spain will take on England tomorrow at 12 o'clock on Fox. How they got there: Spain defeated Germany 1-0, and England defeated Italy 2-1. Great game that is happening. So check it out. That is tomorrow at noon on Fox. So great game for the Women's Euros tournament. That is the final. The championship is tomorrow.
And I actually did watch the shootout. I think it was Germany,
Yeah,
France, right?
yeah.
And that was kind of exciting.
It was, and when you get to that moment, it really gets super exciting. You know, it does take a while to get to the exciting parts, but you really just got to stay in there. When the goals happen, it's something special,
Yeah,
and the crowd, the energy is just—it's an amazing feeling in the soccer world. Oh,
yeah.
the last note I have is I don't have too many random points this week. The ESPN new original documentary series "Running with Wolves" premieres this Tuesday and Thursday at 7 o'clock on ESPN and ESPN Plus. So go check that out.
What's that? Literally the running of the Bulls in Barcelona?
No, Running of the Wolves. It's the
Oh,
soccer show that one with Kelly and Mark. When they bought the team,
oh,
the
you mentioned
ownership.
that. You
Yeah,
mentioned
that
that.
premieres this week. So go ahead, check that out. We do
Okay.
have another comment coming in. He says, "Jr. says, do you think Travis Hunter will make the Jaguars NFL roster?"
Oh, one
1,000%.
1,000%. I mean, the question is he going to be a two-way player? And to be honest with you, when I look at Travis Hunter and I watch Colorado play a lot, I believe he's more of a threat on offense than he is on
Right.
defense. But no question about it. I mean, he was the number one, their number one pick, and he's going to have a good future for sure.
Absolutely. How much will
Yeah,
he play this year? He'll definitely, I think, have a shot at preseason playing for sure.
yep,
And if that works to be well, maybe he'll get your starting spot. But it's just too early to tell.
yeah.
It really
It's
all
it's
depends.
it's kind of tough to be a two-way player in the NFL. I mean that,
Right.
but he will get some reps on defense for sure. But he's going to be a good player. I think they're in good shape.
Absolutely. All right, Jim, go ahead, take it away with some random points.
Okay, Eli. So we just talked a little bit about basketball, and again, these guys they hang on forever. So Chris Paul now goes back to the Clippers.
Right.
He's probably been on 8, 9 teams.
15 different
Um,
teams, right.
Yeah, but he's been in the league for 21 years. And I mean, when you talk about a guy, having already peaked and they're paying him, millions of dollars, it's more of a public relations thing for me. But, he goes back to the Clippers, who are a team that are to be reckoned with in the Western Conference. So,
Yeah.
how is he going to fit in? But anyway, they signed him for his final season. Eli, we talked about that American Century golf tournament that they host
Right.
every year in Tahoe. And Joe Pavelski, former NHL guy, played in the league forever, beat John Smoltz. And John Smoltz is almost PGA caliber type thing. But that was kind of an exciting thing. I don't usually watch those pro-am kind of thing, but this was kind of different. These are really polished golfers, and Pavelski is up there. When you're up there with Smoltz and Steph Curry and guys like that, it's kind of cool. I actually
Yeah.
enjoyed it. Yeah. So we mentioned how, like I said, the summer league, it created injuries, but we already covered that. So, but Derek Queen, that's a big loss for the Pelicans. So
Absolutely.
Eli, we're getting very, very close. As we know, training camp has opened for the NFL. Guess what that means? High school football is right around the corner. And I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, I'm a little biased with St. Joe's because
I don't
they
know about
have
me
such
with
a.
St. Mary, same thing,
I
a
know,
little
of
biased,
course,
but
I wouldn't have it any other way. But
absolutely.
I looked at some of the accomplishments that St. Joe's had this year. They had the #1 wrestling team in the state,
Wow.
and they had the #1 golf team in the state.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is, like I said, these are athletes. These are also students. These are all these kids that are excelling in those sports. They're also, high quality caliber students as well. And that's what St. Joe's is all about. So
And if you
I'm
look at St. Mary's, we are girls volleyball state champions from last year, and we hope to defend that crown this year.
excellent. Perfect. Eli, so and this led me to think when I saw the story of not Serena, Venus Williams at 45 wins a match, didn't win the tournament, but 45 years old. And I know they tried this in the past, right? Kind of having like um, the equivalent of golf in the Legends team, right? Legends, older retired players, and it never really caught on. But when you see something like this and the popularity of the Williams sisters and so forth, I think there's going to be a possibility down the road that they do start. Maybe it's an over 35 or over 40, whatever bracket age wise, at least on the women's side. And I think that might actually take off. I think that's a possibility. But 45 years old. I think she's the oldest since Martina Navratilova won a tournament, and she was about 45 as well. So, but Venus Williams has always been a class act, for women's tennis, and the domination of her and her sister for 20 years was amazing. By the way,
Yeah. And by the way, William comments, he said, we follow the Orange Tornadoes.
mm.
I love that name, by the way, Orange Tornadoes.
Now, Orange Tornadoes is what?
High school football and sports.
Oh, is the town Orange?
Yeah, there's Orange, South Orange, West Orange, East Orange.
Well, I know the West Orange.
There's a bunch of oranges.
Yeah, I know, a whole basket of oranges. Right.
There's a basket of oranges. JR says, do you think Shohei Ohtani will return to the former pitcher he was after coming back from his surgery? So he's pitching pretty good so far this season in the MLB.
Yeah, well, listen, he's definitely, like I said, obviously one of the two best players in the game. I do worry, is he going to be that full-time pitcher, or are they just easing him back in and he's pitching an inning or two? But yeah, he's throwing 100 miles an hour. The
100%.
guy is just a super talented guy, but I don't look for him to be a pivotal, member of the Dodgers starting rotation. He's going to give you these things because his offensive prowess is just amazing. But yes, do I think he is a quality pitcher? Yes. If he
1000%.
gave up hitting and concentrated on pitching full time, yeah, he would be
100%.
up there with the Skeens and the Scoobles and all those guys. So look for that. Eli, there was one topic that came on, and this was from our New Jersey down in Haddington, the bat flip incident with the Little Leaguers. So he was suspended. He hit a home run and he did a bat flip. Now I had two thoughts on it. First and foremost,
Who cares?
I think you got to, at that age, you got to teach a little bit more about sportsmanship. That's kind of showing it up, the other team. But you know what? He's been doing it all summer and nobody complained. But now he gets suspended, which the courts overturned. But I think
Who
it's kind of
cares?
funny.
Let it be. But yet again, if you're injured because of that, that's on you, not the team, not the umpires. It's just on you. I just want to point that out. But you know
Yeah,
what?
no,
Go
but
for it. And listen, maybe his goal in life is to be on the Savannah Bananas and do flips and maybe do a face plant on CNN when you're on that
no, no,
broadcast.
no,
Did you see that
no.
this week? That was hilarious. But you never know.
This was the bat flip, not a regular flip.
Oh.
So that's what I meant by maybe sportsmanship at that age is a little,
Okay.
you know,
Yeah.
that should be coming from the coaches. But was it a suspension worthy thing? I don't think so. I think you
No.
hold the team or the coach accountable for the actions of these kids who are only 12 years old. So
Yeah.
anyway.
Uh, William comments. He says, "What do you think in high school football PowerPoints and transfer portal?"
Well, it's interesting that you brought that up. And I had a conversation with a board member from St. Joe's. And, this is starting, although they're not paying players like they are in high school, but this transfer portal is kind of an issue. And St. Joe's is kind of taking a stand that they're not going to be accepting transfer students primarily because
Of
they
sports,
can play football. That you have to be a student. And I'm assuming Don Bosco and Bergen Catholic,
and they're all following
hopefully,
those same rules.
yeah, I hope they take that same approach because,
Not same
um,
years.
yeah, it's causing a lot of
Yeah, but
confusion, and it affects other players, that end up having to sit on the bench because
at the same,
yeah. So
yeah. I mean, at the same time, you got to look at it from this aspect. And I hear the situation a lot from when I was St. Mary's. A lot of these players, they go to big schools like Hudson Catholic, St. Joe's, and they want to transfer out because the bottom line is freshman and sophomore year, you're either benched or you're on a JV or freshman team. You're not
right,
playing varsity level. When you can go to another school like your own public school, town school, or even a smaller school like St. Mary's and have an opportunity to start varsity starting your freshman year and make a name for yourself
yeah,
versus St. Joe's, where they're only going to look for that one guy who has that potential to make it to the NFL and not because you want to play. That's how that's how I look at it.
yeah,
However,
and,
yes, there should be a rule after so many schools. You can't transfer. Like if you've done 2 schools already, that's it. You can't keep transferring. And
yeah,
remember, education in high school should be a priority, then the sports.
that's
And that
right.
is the bottom line.
That's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. And as far as, William, as far as, the
PowerPoints.
power, I mean, Bergen Catholic is the number one team
And that is the bottom line.
until somebody knocks them off. And this is a big rivalry for me. I've played in those rivalry games when I was playing there. So, yeah, high school football is very, very exciting in New Jersey.
It is
And
exciting.
it
And I think
really
a
is.
transfer portal is, I think it could be the biggest issue on the table. PowerPoint's not so much. It depends on, is your team good or is it not good? And are
Yep.
they placed in the right league? That is a big question as well.
And these are, these schedules these guys play, they're not easy schedules. I mean,
They're not easy schedules. I mean, you look at last year's roster for schedule for St. Joe's as an example. You're playing teams out of state, then you come back to play Bosco and Bergen Catholic on your schedule as well. Where
yeah,
do you get that schedule from? You got, it really is, interesting and tough schedules for these players,
well,
and it's a lot too to manage both, your schoolwork, family life, personal life, and then those couple months of football. Because as we know, high school football begins right away in July, and it ends November, December once all the playoffs are done.
yep, you got it. All right, that's me for random points, Eli.
Well, I think it's now time for the entertainment and photo segment. That is sponsored by Vital Selections. You can scan the QR code to learn more.
Yes, go check out the Vital Selections on that QR code. It's a great product and it's for your health. So take a look.
Absolutely.
So Eli, I have a movie because I was flipping around, of course, and I saw Casino with De
Okay.
Niro and Pesci, and I don't know Have you ever seen it?
Never have.
It's great. It's great. I mean, like I said, it's an R-rated movie because there's language, but that's part of the
That's
movie itself. But
it's everything nowadays. So
it's really one great movie. It's a Martin Scorsese film, and he's one of my favorite directors
absolutely.
and of all time. So if you haven't seen it, Casino, it's a great movie.
Check it out.
Highly recommend it.
My recommendation, Happy Gilmore 2 is officially out now on Netflix. So catch Happy Gilmore 2 now on Netflix and catch Happy Gilmore 1. You got to watch it. Happy Gilmore 2 is out. The
It's
wait is
kind of
over.
it's funny that that's exactly the one you brought up because I had a conversation with guys yesterday. I've never even seen Happy Gilmore 1. So I know.
As a
Sports guy,
sports fan, you got to stop watching every other movie and watch how I watched Rudy. You got to watch Happy Gilmore 1 at least,
right,
and then go to Happy Gilmore 2. I mean,
all right.
it's a sports movie. That should be number 1 already done. And it's an
I,
awesome movie.
I understand. So you'll give us your review because I know you'll watch Happy Gilmore this
I'm going to be
week.
watching Happy Gilmore 2. I got to watch it.
Okay.
Whenever I have the time. I mean, this week I'm busy. I'm at the sports broadcasting camp. It's now at Seton Hall this year, so I'll
Great.
be at that this week. So it should be exciting. I mean, can't wait to do the camp this year. And I'll have more information. I'm at the Liberty game tonight, so I'll have more. We'll talk about more next week on the show.
Great.
So busy week ahead, and we're trying to grow the show. We're trying to do some interesting things. We've done some tests this morning. Didn't go as well as we had hoped, but trust me, folks, we're gonna get some stuff done, and we appreciate Andrew, by the way, for helping us out beforehand during the breaks during our test runs.
Yes.
So thank you, Andrew.
We
for the help.
recruited one of our loyal listeners to help us.
Yeah, for the help for that. Appreciate it.
The exciting news is we're planning on it so we can have people
Something
call
happened.
in and state comments and so forth. So we're all Eli and I are both excited about it. And like I said, we just got some kinks to work out, which we will.
Right.
So stay tuned for that. The changing dynamic of sports with Mono and Mono.
Absolutely.
All right, Eli, we got some pictures, right?
Yes, we do. Let's take a look.
All right, so you're gonna have to zoom in, I guess, on this, but I know Andrew.
Gonna have to I have to fix that.
No, I'm saying the audience because last week I put up a team picture and Andrew successfully picked me out as number 30 on that team. This is a couple years earlier, and I'm somewhere buried in that massive humanity there. And let's see if he can come up with where I am in this picture. Eli, can't hear you.
I've told you're number 30, so I think your number is now 30.
Not in this picture, no.
You have like too many numbers, Jim. You got to make it easy for our audience.
Well, listen, I didn't become number 27 until high school, and I was consistent across that board. But anyway, and there's my grandson. He's just hanging out because my other grandson had a baseball tournament up in Pennsylvania this week, and like I said, when you go play out of state, there's a different group of guys, and it was a lesson in humility, to say the least, but they gave it their best. And I have a picture, I guess. Yeah, there's the picture of some of the players on the team. My grandson to the far left, and then
That's awesome.
And then the background, that's my granddaughter as well. So these are all the teammates on the Chester Mendham baseball team, and they'll learn and grow from an experience like that in Pennsylvania. Good for them.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
And one more thing before we go to our notable passings, we want to wish you a happy birthday. This is this week, your birthday. So happy birthday to Jim, who celebrates this week.
Well, thank you, but I don't celebrate birthdays anymore at my age.
Okay, well, I mean, you're
I
going on
appreciate
vacation,
that
so
anyway.
You won't be in Jersey, so technically that counts.
All right. Thank you, Eli. Thank you.
All right. Unfortunately, though, we do have some notable passings. Boy, one after another. That was for sure this week.
Go ahead. Start us off.
All right. Well, let's go down the list. We'll start off with legendary heavy metal rock star Ozzy Osbourne. Crazy Train was one of the hits, of course, who died at the age of 76. He was born in 1948.
Well,
What a
listen,
legend.
I know he's not from your era. He's from my
Oh,
era.
I know the
And
music. Absolutely. I listen to it.
right. And I was telling somebody the other day, because I used to go to concerts when I was younger, and Black Sabbath, Ozzy's band was, very underrated.
Right.
And, because I do a lot of driving, so I listen to music and I listen to a lot of Black Sabbath music, and I actually almost forgot how good it was. And then, yes, he went out and he had many albums on his own, and Crazy Train, everybody kind of knows that song.
Absolutely.
But yeah, he was definitely a unique individual, let's just say. I
Let's
mean,
say that. Yeah. And we'll move along.
but he was definitely influential in the music business. Had a great run. Uh,
Yeah.
as you said, 76. Yep.
Legendary WWE wrestler Hulk Hogan has died at the age of 71. He was born in 1953.
Well, this is who I was kind of referencing in the beginning at the monologue
Mhm.
as no question, pop culture figure.
Absolutely.
I wasn't a big wrestling guy because I don't believe it's really legitimate. I mean, the guys are incredibly fit, obviously, but it's more of a show. And like I said, he made some comments that really kind of almost derailed his whole career in that
Career.
field. And so yeah, he was. He was an interesting character to say the least. But
No question.
I mean, he was
From the Cosby Show star Malcolm Jamal Warner has died at the age of 54 from drowning in Costa Rica. He was born in 1970.
yeah. And listen, he was part of one of. You want to talk about American television history? The Cosby Show was one of the most watched shows while it was on. I mean,
Absolutely.
I watched it. Um, the kid was on it through the whole 8 seasons, and yeah, definitely a tragic. He had a good career
He
following
did.
this, though.
The next
And
one I
yeah,
have.
but
Okay, sorry.
no, that's fine. But he was definitely, when you're part of a show that's basically the number one show on television for 8 years,
100%.
yeah, that's
Cosby
certainly
Show.
notable.
Absolutely.
But a tragic way to go. Tragic.
Yeah. And lastly, a famous jazz musician Chuck Mangione has passed away at the age of 84. He was born in 1940.
And I'm telling you something. When I saw this, right, and I remember Chuck Mangione, just a great trumpeter, and he played the flugelhorn of all things. I don't even know what that is, but great jazz. Played with just quality um, session guys, and he had a big hit called "Feel So Good." And everybody, I'm sure even Eli, you would recognize it. There's
Some
no
of the notes
vocals.
and music. Absolutely.
It really was, and I actually listened to some Chuck Mangione last night in his memory. He was
That was great. Yeah.
yeah, no. And I saw they have the cover of his album Feels So Good, where that number one hit was. Um, they had a silhouette, and a silhouette, you have to be very, very unique to recognize somebody just from a silhouette. And he was one of those guys playing the trumpet with the hat. He was notable for the hats that he used to wear. But I think of things like Neil Diamond had a silhouette you
Oh
knew,
yeah.
or could have been Elvis Presley, Jerry West as a silhouette, right, for the NBA. You knew who that was. Um,
Absolutely.
but absolutely, definitely a big notable passing for Chuck Mangione on this show because he was a great jazz trumpeter, no doubt.
Yeah. All right. Well, what a great show. We
Oh,
appreciate.
Eli,
Oh, one more.
just
One
one
more.
one quick note I wanted to bring up because I meant to bring it up last week. So one of our loyal listeners, Jim Walsh from Long Island, and great friend of my brother Stevens, and now him and I have become very close friends. And I just want to send a good shout out to him and his wife Adele, who's battling, a medical condition. But they're from Long Island. They're tough as nails. They'll get through this. But I just wanted to mention because he is one of our loyal listeners.
Absolutely.
Great people. Big Irish family, just like the Monahans. But I wish his wife all the best and
And we
speedy
shall be in our prayers
recovery.
for sure.
Yep. So Jim, we're thinking of you, kid.
Absolutely. With that, though, what a great show. We appreciate
Yep.
everybody for commenting, tuning in. And we'll be back again next week, 10 o'clock, right here on
Yep.
Sports Mono Mono. Jim will
Yep.
be in Idaho, and I'll be here in good old Jersey as we watch a great show, Sports Mono Mono.
Yeah, this is a good show. And like I said, Eli, I'm very, very excited about the next phase of our show and the new feature we have coming up. It's going to be great.
Yes.
And we can all still continue to send us emails at sportswithmono@gmail. You could just comment on the show, but I think this is going to be really, really good for the show, and I think the fans are going to love it. So we'll go
Absolutely.
into more detail when we get it working.
When we get everything set up, we'll get into detail.
Right. All right, everybody.
then.
So
Have a great
everybody
week.
enjoy your weekend. It's hot in New Jersey again, but probably hot where you guys are too. It is the summer.
Yeah.
So thanks for joining us. And Eli, you have a great week as well. And to all of our loyal listeners, thank you. See you next week.
Have a good one, everyone. Take care now.
Okay, bye.
Bye.